So you mentioned in the digital world, digital information is 1, digital energy is 2, and the possible impact on the world and the set of opportunities available in the digital energy space is much greater. So how do you think about digital energy? What is it?
So I'll start with Tesla. He had a very famous quote. He said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. And it gets you thinking about what is the universe. And of course, the universe is just all energy. And then what is matter? Matter is low frequency energy. And what are we? We're vibrating from, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I can turn a tree into light. I can turn light back into a tree. If I consider the entire universe, and it's very important because we don't really think this way. Let's take the New York disco model. What if I walk into a nightclub and there's loud music blaring in New York City? What's really going on there? Right? If you blast out 14 billion years ago, the universe is formed. Yeah. Okay, that's a low frequency thing, the universe. 4.5 billion years ago, the sun, maybe the earth are formed. The continents are 400 million years old. The schist that New York City is on is some hundreds of millions of years, but the Hudson River is only 20,000 years. There's a building that's probably 50 years old. There's a company operating that disco or that club, which is 5 to 10 years old. There's a person, a customer walking in there for an experience for a few hours. There's music that's oscillating at some kilohertz, and then there's light.
Right.
And you have all forms of energy, all frequencies, right? All layered, all moving through different medium. And how you perceive the world is a question of at what frequency do you want to perceive the world? And I think that once you start to think that way, you're catalyzed to think about what would digital energy look like and why would I want it? And what is it? So why don't we just start right there? What is it? The most famous manifestation of digital energy is Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a crypto asset. It's a crypto asset that has monetary value.
Can we just linger on that? Bitcoin is it's digital asset that has monetary value. What is a digital asset? What is monetary? Why use those terms versus the words of money and currency? Is there something interesting in that disambiguation of different terms?
I'd call it a crypto asset network. The goal is to create $1 billion block of pure energy in cyberspace. One that I could then move with no friction at the speed of light. Right? It's the equivalent to putting 1 million pounds in orbit. How do I actually launch something into orbit, right? How do I launch something into cyberspace such that it moves friction-free? And the solution is a decentralized proof-of-work network, right? Satoshi's solution was, I'm going to establish a protocol running on a distributed set of computers that will maintain a constant supply of never more than 21 million Bitcoin subdividable by 100 million Satoshis, each transferable via transferring private keys. Now, the innovation is to create that in a ethical, durable fashion, right? The ethical innovation is I want it to be property and not a security. A bushel of corn, an acre of land, a stack of lumber, and a bar of gold, and a Bitcoin are all property.
Okay, listen to this, and listen to every word, because every word is important. Bitcoin is the first global. That's really important, as Michael said. Private, now it's open source, but there's no government involvement. So private. So first global, private, digital, rules-based monetary system in the history of the world. It is a very big idea. Yeah. In our Big Ideas 2022, which is at arc-invest.com, we have a price target in 2030 for Bitcoin of more than $1 million per Bitcoin. And yeah, see, even you can't believe it. I expected a big roaring no, but and if you go in and you'll see how we build that case, we see institutional investors, all we expect over the next 8 years is that 2.5%, roughly 2.5% of assets, institutional assets, are allocated to Bitcoin. So we don't need a lot. And if it's more than that, and that's how institutional investors work, they tiptoe in. In the 70s, it was real estate. In the 80s, it was emerging markets, 80s and 90s. And now I think it's going to be crypto, starting with Bitcoin. And that's very important, starting with Bitcoin, because they understand what it is and what it's not. It's not a security.
Nice. So we got to wrap it up here.